Time to join Martin Lewis now. And Martin, you're also marking today with a very, very special show this evening.
Yeah, we're talking about money and mental health. I wrote my first guide to money problems and mental health problems back in 2007. And I remember the big response I got then is, what, you mean it's not just me? And it isn't just you. The stats are pretty horrific. You're over 3 times more likely to have crisis debts if you or your family member has got mental health problems. And it's thought, not as strong, this statistic, the clinical treatment time for depression is exacerbated by 18 months if you've also got financial issues. No. In 2016, I set up a charity, the Money and Mental Health Policy Institute, and we've been trying and successfully have changed regulation and rules to try and help people with money and mental health. But tonight, I really want to focus on some of the practical things you can do if you have mental health issues and money issues. And also it's good for general impulse control. But you'll know that the ITV theme today is Get Britain Talking. But the big question is, does that apply to your bank and to your insurer and to your energy company? Should you talk to them about your mental health problems? I've got the boss of HSBC, one of Britain's biggest banks, on the programme. I'll be talking to him about it. I've got the regulator on, and I'll be running through tips and products and things that you can do. We're never going to solve this problem, but we might make things a bit easier. So if you or somebody you know even has impulse control or mental health or mental illness worries or money problems, it is worth watching 8 o'clock tonight on ITV.
I guess the fear there, Martin, would be that the bank would then take your mental health issues and stop giving you a loan or a mortgage or something like that. It might make you a bit more protective of yourself.
That would breach the Equalities Act 2010, so they absolutely 100% should not do that. That would be an offence if they did. So
it's wisdom and knowledge like that makes your show unmissable tonight at 8 p.m, Martin, and that's why we have you on. No, absolutely brilliant stuff. It's a very, very important programme. As ever, when we have you on, lots and lots of questions in. This first one from Paul. I'm owed a rebate from my old electric company. I've contacted the company that took over, but they say they're not liable for my rebate as my records did not come over to them. This has been going on, oh my word, for over 2 years. How can I get my money back? Asked Paul.
Well, they are 100% liable for your rebate. There is no doubt on that. Under the Ofgem safety net, when one company takes over another's business, it takes over the money that is owed to customers. So this isn't a question of liability. This is a question of evidence. They don't have evidence that you were owed money, and that's what you have to prove. But they should have the records. They should have been on the old firm systems. If I were in your position, I would be making a formal complaint. And then once you have that formal complaint, if they reject you, they will say you can go to the Energy Ombudsman. And I would take this to the Energy Ombudsman to adjudicate. Any evidence you got, even sort of semi-circumstantial, a screen grab, anything, an email, your accounts from the time and roughly what your bills were that you can present would be helpful in this case. Because unfortunately, some of the companies went bust. I mean, they had poor customer service and poor data keeping records. So things can get lost in the process. This has gone on way too long. Formal complaint, Energy Ombudsman, official adjudication is what you need.
Oh, thank you, Martin, and we hope that helps Paul. Next, we've got Suzanne. Where are my pension contributions? I'm 54 years old and I have worked many jobs. I have never taken much notice of my pension deductions. Is there a place I can check where all my contributions have gone? Or when I turn 65, will they all just simply clump together?
No, they won't simply clump together in any way, and you will have pensions in lots of different places. Remember, a pension is just an investment product in a special tax wrapper. So it's like you've got lots of investments in different places. Some of them may be workplace pensions. Some of your workplaces you might have put money in. The government has a system called the Pension Tracing Service. What you need to do is go through all your old employers. I'm assuming these were all employer-based, otherwise you would have set them up and you probably know about them a bit more. And then you can write to the company's pension administrator. It'll give you those details to trace your old pension. I've had people who do this who found over £100,000 worth of pensions, and they were gobsmacked because, if you did it 30 years ago and you were putting in 5% of your income and it compounded and it was invested in a good fund, it could have grown massively. So anyone who thinks they may have an old pension from somewhere and don't know about it, get yourself onto the government's pension tracing service. It's free. It takes a bit of elbow grease. You've got to go through, find the administrator, get in touch with the administrator. But we're generally not talking hundreds or thousands here. We're talking tens or hundreds of thousands of pounds. So it is well worth doing. I'm not saying you'll get, but it's worth the time.
I didn't know that. That is so helpful. Thank you, Martin. Thank you.
A simple but brilliant question from Tina, Martin. Which banks have the best interest rates at the moment?
Well, it depends whether you want to fix or not, but let's go for easy access. That's the bog standard account where you're just putting money in and taking it out whenever you like, and you can put a decent amount in. We are in a very rare position right now that one of the big banks is top of the table, and it's Ulster Bank, which you may not have heard of, but that's part of NatWest Group, so it is one of the really big ones. It's 5.2% easy access, which is way more than most people are earning, and you can open it online. You've got to have a minimum £5,000 though. If you haven't got that, then Coventry Building Society also pays 5.2% with just £1 to open. The only difference is, whereas you can take money out as often as you like from Ulster, you can only make 3 withdrawals a year from Coventry penalty-free. After that, you pay a penalty. But still, if you're planning to just put money away and not take it out very often, that would do for you too. So you can earn more if you lock money away in a fixed rate. They change all the time. You can go and look that up online. But it is rare to have a big bank being top of the best buy tables for easy access. So that's quite a useful situation right now.
Thank you, Martin. Right, our next message is from Zoe. Can an IVA help me clear my debt? I've unexpectedly lost my job and I've got myself into a bit of debt to pay my bills, which I'm struggling to pay back. Would an IVA be the way forward to help clear my debt? Now, I'm sorry, what is an IVA?
It's an individual voluntary arrangement, and it's like a cut-down form of bankruptcy, and it is one of the tools that can clear your debt.
Right.
But what we need to be careful of is you're not using a sledgehammer to crack a nut here. No. Now, one of the problems with IVAs is firms can make money from selling them, and some commercial firms push them out there, and they're not necessarily the right solution. I'm not going to tell you what the right solution is. You've given me, one sentence is not enough. There are lots of other possible options, a debt management plan, an IVA. I'm assuming you're in England when I'm giving these options. They're slightly different in Scotland. Or even bankruptcy may be right for you in certain circumstances. I'm not saying it is. The way to find out is to go to a non-profit debt counselling agency and let them do a one-on-one with you. And if an IVA is right, they'll tell you it is. And if it's not right, they'll put you onto another option. So you're talking Step Change, Citizens Advice, or National Debt Line. Get in touch with one of those 3. All are totally free. All will work it through with you, and they will work through whether this is the right solution or not. Be careful not to be sold an IVA. An IVA can be the right solution, but sometimes you might be given it for the wrong reasons.
I'm so glad you asked what that was, what an IVA is. Is there a list? Is there a glossary of terms somewhere? Because I tell you something, it's so difficult to know them all, isn't it?
It's called the internet.
The internet. Tell me more. It'll never take off. It'll never take off.
You just got owned by Martin Lewis.
I just got burned by Lewis. Absolutely burned. 8 p.m. tonight, Martin. Really good show. Good stuff. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Martin.
So take care.